Now, there is not much about this armor that I can say that has not already been said, but we're going to try and be fair. We're going to try and look at this functionally and aesthetically and characterally. We're going to try. I received way too many excellent armor suggestions. Woe is me. What a terrible problem to have. We're just gonna have to make it a series. Let's start with The Witcher. Mostly the series, but there are a couple of game designs in there too. If you are a patron or a YouTube channel member, yes, that's new, I have figured out the thing, you should head over there now because the digressions about cowboy boots and jack chain and my TV watching habits are mostly interspersed into the video rather than being all at the end, so you don't want to miss those. But if you're just here for the armor, let's get to it. I like to name at least some of my tiers thematically, so the top one is called Toss a Coin to Your Designer. This one we reserve for armor which is both functionally and aesthetically pleasing. Second tier this time around is going to be called Respect Doesn't Make History, which is to say the design is solid but not amazing, maybe there's some details that are a bit off, but generally it's not bad. Middle tier is, as always, not actually armor, where we put the stuff which I have been specifically asked to talk about, but which is not actually armor, so it wouldn't really be fair to rank it like that. Moving on down, we've got Sit in a Corner and Brood for things which could be worse, but just aren't great, really. And lastly, according to tradition, we have Just Stab Me Now. So where to start? But with the man himself. Geralt Season 1 I like pretty well. The main armor looks kind of like brigandine, it looks reasonable mobility-wise, there's an actual waist belt, no helmet, but how often am I really rewarded with a helmet under these circumstances? I suppose that monster hunting does require excellent peripheral vision and also good hearing, so still, would like a little steel cap have killed you? No, it wouldn't. There is a lot of coverage on the top half, which contrasts pretty sharply with Game Ciri, who we'll get to in a minute because she was an actual patron request. I also note what I think are leather trousers, which seem to be popular with Witchers. I guess they are wipe clean and they're more protective than cloth. And another Witcher style in this series at least is the lack of hip and groin coverage. They do ride horses a lot, I suppose, and they also do need serious leg mobility. Overall, given the fact that Henry Cavill reportedly found it a bit uncomfortable, and the fact that it's just a bit dull, we'll go for Respect Doesn't Make History. It's not the best, but I've seen much worse. Season 2 Geralt apparently had design input from Henry Cavill to make it more comfortable, which I am all for. That said, I know Lorica Musculata was an historical thing, but I'm not generally a fan. Especially in black, it kind of reminds me of Batman, but not necessarily in a good way. But I do like the shoulder design, and I do like that we seem to have kept the van braces from Season 1. And overall, I would rank this one in Respect Doesn't Make History as well, because it's not bad. I just don't love it. Now, to lead us on to our patron request, which was Ciri in Witcher 3 specifically, let me present Geralt in an equivalent kind of costume, i.e. Geralt in a shirt. No, I feel like that's more Zero Suit Geralt, can we get some trousers? Better. So Ciri's look is basically this, and is therefore obviously A, not actually armor, but interesting nonetheless, and B, looks just like Geralt's starting shirt, but with a couple of extras. On the positive side, hair is sensibly tied back, so it's not going to get in her face all the time. I always appreciate gloves, because, like, as a Witcher, you never know what sort of things you're going to have to touch, and if they're corrosive or just disgusting, better to ruin the gloves than your hands, is what I'm saying here. No pockets, but she does have travel bags, which, you know, are useful for putting stuff in. And the leather trousers are going to be very cleanable, as long as you can move in them. I'm not super convinced by the leather underbust corset. Stylistically, I see where you're going, but practically not so much. Underbust corset means practically no bust support, and so I assume that she's wearing some kind of bra, but how supportive that is, who even knows? And while the corset is long enough to give some groin protection, it is also going to limit mobility because it extends up way past her waist. So if it were me designing it, I would probably have two pieces, like a leather overbust corset for boob support, and then a little sort of skirt thing if required. Or just a kind of like one-piece leather vest which goes over the top and kind of holds everything in. Actually, the outfit they gave her in the series is pretty much exactly how I would have redesigned this, including nice, sensible boots without a huge stonking great heel. There is no need for a heel that high on her boots. There just isn't. I mean, it looks like a cowboy boot heel, but those are pretty specialized. Just no. Ciri does not go around roping calves or breaking wild horses. Stop it. Overall, this not actually armor, but I feel like the series redesign is enough of an improvement that you should toss a coin to your designer regardless. Storage capacity notwithstanding, but maybe they'll give her a bag. Oh, and this This is just no. No, look, you can see the scar on Ciri's midriff. Why would you not cover the entire torso with mail if you had mail? Which you apparently do. I mean, one pauldron, sure. Sleeveless mail, I guess, okay, if you're really trying to save weight. But there is a limited point in wearing mail if half of your vital organs remain uncovered. And there's a big gap over your heart. Also, the long embroidered thing, as seen here on the doll, is just a bit too long for someone who does a lot of running and jumping and climbing of trees. I like the embroidery, but you know, this would have been perfectly fine. I mean, aesthetically speaking, nice colors and patterns. Practically speaking, just stab me now, because I fear that monsters will be so rude as to attack your uncovered head, neck, heart, liver, kidneys, spleen, stomach, and not your nicely armored boobs. Sorry. Anyway, speaking of Ciri's redesigns, which we were just a moment ago, I fear that while Ciri's was a distinct improvement and Geralt's is, you know, it's alright, it's not better, but it is functional. There was quite infamously an armor design in season 1 of The Witcher which was less well received. So here's some Nilfgaardian armor from The Witcher 2, here's Geralt wearing some variation of it in The Witcher 3, and here it is in The Witcher season 1. Yeah, and it's really not much better when you can see the detail either. Witcher season 2, toss a coin to your redesigner because that looks much better. But, Now there is not much about this armor that I can say that has not already been said, but we're gonna try and be fair, we're gonna try and look at this functionally and aesthetically and characterally. We're gonna try. Okay, it does at least cover the important bits. They have helmets. There is some form of neck coverage, though I'm not quite sure what it's made of. But it just looks weird. And not the threatening kind of weird. I mean, they are protected, but they look like moldy potatoes. Because, I mean, from a protection perspective, this is way better than Ciri's midriff-bearing male shirt, but it just doesn't do the thing that it's meant to do from a character perspective. It doesn't make me want to take these guys seriously. Now, the series team said that they wanted the armor to look kind of thrown together. The armor had to look like they picked it up, they did it quickly and they put them on them. It's not meant to have the same look as standard armor. See, also, it was quite important to make them look alien in a way. So they wanted a kind of ragtag conscripts look, but they also wanted them to look weird. Which is fine, and that would definitely not be the impression that you get from the Season 2 redesign, which looks much more like the armor in the games, i.e. rich people armor. However, rotting potatoes are just not very scary. And if you want a ragtag thrown together army look, there are alternatives. I mean, helmets are reasonably standard, you can make them in a couple of sizes, and if your head doesn't fit it, you can always pad it. When you want to do that, generally avoiding things that have to fit too well would be useful. So you want something which is cohesive in terms of colors, and maybe having the little star or sun, whatever it is on it, but you can have lots of different materials. So maybe rich Nilfgaardians get to look more like this, whereas the ones who are reasonably well off but not quite so much get this, and then it sort of goes down as you get poorer. Non-standardized armor is the thing though. You want the Nilfgaardians to look similar to each other but good, as opposed to what they look like now, which is identical but bad. If you want ragtag, you need people to dress differently from each other. Alright, so we've established that all of the Nilfgaardians, except for these ones, are toss a coin to your designer because I love all of them. But this last design, I need your help because I have an opinion, but I don't know why I have the opinion, and maybe you can help me figure it out. So Queen Calanthe. There are so many cool details that I like about this armor. I love the lion claws on her spaulders. I like the lion detail on her breastplate and the sort of fluting. That's really cool. I like the existence of a helmet. You call it low standards, I call it accurate expectations of Hollywood. I like the colors. I look at the breastplate and I don't automatically think that is much too long. It might be too long, but I can't actually tell, which is a definite improvement. But, I look at this armor, right, and something just seems off. And I don't know what it is, which makes me automatically put this into respect doesn't make history instead of into the top tier, but maybe we can work it out together. Is it that everyone else gets pauldrons and she only gets spaulders? Is it the lack of upper arm protection when everything else is so well covered? Like, I get that she's maybe not going to have the same endurance as the big burly knights and so you want to put her in lighter armor, but still, you know, something. Jack chain exists, I'm just saying. I learned about it recently, I think it's really cool, you could have had that. Or does it just fit wrong? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I'm seeing, or if it's all of those things, or if it's something else entirely. But respect doesn't make history. It's not bad armor, but there's something that's keeping it out of the top tier, and for the life of me I couldn't tell you what it is, but it's there. Anyway, I have actually watched a few more episodes of The Witcher since last we spoke about it, but that's not really relevant to this video, and so it is discussed at more length in the extended version, which is for patrons and people who have joined my YouTube channel as channel members. That is why there's now a join button. So if you want to support the show, but you're not really a Patreon person, but you figure YouTube already knows where I live, then you can now hit the red button below and join the channel and get access to cool extended videos. Okay, cool might be an overstatement, but extended videos nonetheless. If you like listening to me ramble at greater length, these things are for you. Either way, more armor content coming soon. Up here, I hope, is the previous video I did, which was an armor review, which people seem to like, and I'll see you next time.